Just yesterday, Harry was berated by the Met Police for trying to use armed officers as private bodyguards for the wealthy. The Prince was appealing against a decision not to let him pay for armed security, but the Met said this would create a two-tier system where the rich and famous fund their own private force. Harry was stripped of having his own 24-hour protection officers after he quit life as a working royal back in 2020. Now he's seeking a judicial review, claiming he feels unsafe on trips back to the UK. And actually, as distinct from the first story that we've just been talking about, I slightly come out on Team Harry here, because I actually think, if nothing else, whatever the rules and regulations are about the Met, and I kind of get that, otherwise every famous person would go, well, hang on a second, you know, I'm Nicki Minaj, I turn up and have, like, thousands of people waiting for me. I'm Justin Bieber, you know, I'm Beyonce. Yeah. You could argue that forever. What I do think's a bit weird is that his old man, who the last time I looked is the king, didn't go, do you know what, this is my son. I'm actually going to pay for a couple of these characters to protect him.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. The point is, you can't pay for the police.
No, but pay himself, what I'm saying is, forget the police, just pay for his own protection.
No, but Harry is well capable, has said, you know, of course he can pay for his own protection.
Costing him $6 million a year.
Yeah, he does pay for his own protection when he comes here as well.
How does it cost $6 million a year?
That's what he said.
Well, he does, because of Montecito as well.
They did a terrible job yesterday.
So that's the whole point.
Great.
The whole point is he is well able to afford and currently does use private security. He says the problem with them is they're not armed, they've only got tasers and they don't have the right information. So in that respect, I've got some sympathy, but this guy resigned from frontline royal duties and therefore is not, does not qualify for this kind of protection. And he says, well, you know, the police get paid by football clubs to protect fans on match day and things like that. I think that's a very different thing. In actual fact, the clubs give the police money voluntarily as a gesture.
As would Harry.
No, because the police would have to go there anyway.
Right. Yeah.
Would have to go there anyway.
Yeah, if you go to King's Road outside Stamford Bridge, the club are paying for that.
And the police are furious about this, quite rightly. They say, we are not a private security force, we're not guns for hire, and if you're not in the royal family, if you're not he's just an other celebrity.
He's not another.
Yes, he is.
No, he isn't,
Yes,
Kevin.
Yes, he is.
Shush, and let me explain to you why he's
No,
not.
because I haven't finished.
Yes, you have. I'm telling you you've finished.
And he says we get death threats. So does Tom Cruise. So does every other
But the Metropolitan
superstar.
Police has confirmed that they have had that intelligence that has put people away and that the threats against their life were properly well-founded and were a proper threat. The Metropolitan Police have not been in receipt of death threats about Tom Hanks and so on.
How do you know?
It would be the American police who would have... Because the attacks have come from these shores.
But they have had that for the Beckhams, kidnap threats for the Beckhams and their kids. They've had it for Katie Price before, and they let their security people know this is the threat that we've neutralised. They can do that with Harry as well. He should not be able to pay for the Met Police.
Absolutely.
What about Salman Rushdie? Salman Rushdie had 20 years of... Or more of police protection.
He did.
Because there was a fatwa, and that was a very specific threat. I guess that is the difference.
Meghan had threats from her from far-right terrorists.
But is it just about... lots of people, lots of people have threats.
Just because you get death threats...
But it's how credible
It doesn't matter how credible they are. It doesn't mean you're entitled to police protection.
We actually are going to be